I don't know if anyone's been watching Succession, but if you haven't, I highly recommend it. It's a series with Brian Cox on HBO and an actor called Jeremy Strong. It's the same producers, i.e. Will Ferrell and Adam McKay. They're some of the producers involved in it, who also did The Big Short, which Jeremy Strong was in. Succession, if you don't know, I'll show you. Because I was chatting, I think it was with you, Cavs, I can't really remember. Somebody, I started talking about actors and Daniel Day-Lewis and method acting. So this is it. The Roy family is known for controlling the biggest media and entertainment company in the world. However, their world changes when their father steps down from the company. It's just, it's surreal. It's like eating a banquet, a fine, just a big table of just tasty morsels of good writing, incredible acting. It's nuanced, it's clever, it's frenetic. It's very, very, very good, and it's got that kind of feel of the thick of it. That sort of bustle, and you're not quite sure what everyone's talking about, but it feels very important. Anyway, that's Jeremy Strong. This fella is zooming up. Let me zoom in on my lovely head there. Thank you. That's Jeremy Strong. And I was chatting with a friend of mine who's also a drama teacher, very experienced director. He's actually my drama teacher. Taught me everything I know. And we were chatting about Succession. And I think he brought up Jeremy Strong being... There's some kind of column which I don't know about. I'll try it. Let's see if it comes up now. Jeremy Strong. Let's see what happens if we put in Jeremy Strong method actor. Right. I've always had this thing when it comes to method acting. I'm not quite sure what it is, because to me, method acting really just means acting. Acting has a method, and everyone has their own method. It's kind of like saying pretend acting. For me, method acting is like however you get into a role, whatever preparation you choose to do, it's your prerogative and it's your responsibility. It doesn't concern anybody else. So this drama teacher, friend of mine, said that, let me just see what he said. I just want to get the gist of what it was he said. Yeah, but a couple of articles recently sticking the knife into method for some reason. Jeremy Strong seems to be the target of their fury, but they're so broad-stroke and confused they're not worth the paper they're written on, which I tend to agree with. And I said in response to that, I'll be honest, it's all just white noise to me. It's all just white noise. And I know journalists have a job to report this kind of thing, and it is interesting. But it's this kind of language, it's the language around it which seems to give method acting a sort of notorious rap, as if actors are, and you kind of judge each case by its own merit, but there've been reports of all kinds of actors taking it too far and being difficult to work with and disrespectful to other actors on set. So I understand that there are ethical lines which have to be drawn. So I don't really have a strong point one way or the other, because I don't really delve into this sort of territory. I don't necessarily want to read a whole article about it. I enjoy reading stuff on IMDb, like just little facts, little factlets about actors' preparations and things. But it's one thing It's one thing reading that, and then it's another, and getting tarred with this brush of being. Let's have a quick read. Oh, he's in The Trial of Chicago 7 as well. Yeah, Strong reportedly demanded that an ex-cop starring as a stormtrooper in the movie throw him on the ground before each take in the scene that involved a riot. Sorkin then claimed that Strong begged him to spray him with real tear gas, which he declined to do. Strong's intense method acting spilled over into Succession, with co-star Brian Cox revealing that he worried about Strong's unwavering commitment to the role. The admission has led to various rumours that the 41-year-old's antics on set, like refusing to be called anything other than his stage name and abusing substances as his character would. Refusing to be called anything other than his stage name, I think they mean his character name, not his stage name. His stage name is Jeremy Strong. Jesus, see, they can't even get the terminology right. Heard from a trusted source that very few, if anyone, who works on Succession meets Jeremy, they will always meet Kendall. He will introduce himself as Kendall. He's very method, apparently, for anyone who's spent any time on film or TV. This is really impressive, especially these days. Chances are he probably uses multiple techniques, including aspects of the method. The method, what is that? What is that? He's just doing his job as far as I'm concerned. Method, I suppose, is staying in character. Abusing substances. I wonder if he did that on set. I'm not sure about that. Not live on stream, thank you. Just to be safe. Just to be safe. We can't be too careful, can we? Here's about Jeremy Strong, method actor. Ah, okay. Here we go. Anne Hathaway supports Jeremy Strong amid acting method debate. Anne Hathaway sent Jeremy Strong some love after his acting methods were criticised. Here we go. Like I say, I don't have any prerequisite on my stance with this. I've not read anything, and I was saying to my friend, I deliberately don't read things because to me it just seems like white noise. It doesn't seem credible, and I'm not negating the fact that there are and have been actors who cross that line of what's appropriate and what's been agreed upon between them and the other actors. I've done plays before where another actor has gotten physical with me, and I've had to say that's not okay. And I have felt violated. It's like, especially if it's something that's quite intimate or requires a lot of trust. And then I've done other scenes which have been quite high octane and emotional and aggressive, and there's absolute trust there. So I think it comes down to communication and or ego. And it seems to me the people who take it too far, there's an element of narcissism there, and like they are untouchable, or that it's something which nobody would understand, and they're entitled to their method, they're entitled to this process for the good of the art that they're trying to produce, which I think is absolute bollocks. And it's where a few people, I think, fall down. Anyway. Discuss the lengths he goes to with his intense approach to his job in a viral New Yorker article which caused a stir online. All right. Concerned about how obsessed Jeremy is with it. Just for the record as well, Jeremy Strong he's phenomenal in it. He's not. He doesn't strike me as he just sits very well within that character. The character has lots of addiction issues and stuff like that. And Jeremy Strong, I think, sits really well within that. It's believable, but not to the point where you go, holy shit, he's really gone for it here. Do you know what I mean? There's a fine line for me of when does it become, when do you become aware that it's acting, even if it's so good. I don't really have an answer to that, but you know what I mean. Some actors, you can see their commitment and it becomes more about, wow, look at what they did to portray this person. So sometimes it can detract from the actual story they're trying to tell. It becomes their show. Tom Hardy does that a bit for me. He seems to be he's very watchable, but I'm always aware that I'm watching Tom Hardy doing Tom Hardy, being intense or aggressive or brooding. And I think it's I don't quite know what it is, but I'm sure it's got something to do with ego. And people not listening as well. You stop listening to people when you're in that mode. And you go within yourself as an actor, and it becomes about you and you reaching something. It becomes more about you and less about letting something play out organically. And this Jeremy Strong, I might be completely wrong, but he doesn't seem to me to be that kind of actor. When you watch him, he seems very, very connected with other people, with his other actors. While the likes of Aaron Sorkin and Jessica Chastain, who worked with Jeremy on Molly's Game, have had their say, and now Jeremy's Serenity and Armageddon Time co-star Anne has spoken out in support of the star, who she hailed for many things, including being fully engaged and committed on set. There you go. She penned on Instagram, "As the week ends, I would like to send some love to Jeremy Strong, who I'm lucky enough to have worked with twice and who I'm proud to consider a friend. I deeply value his qualities of thoughtfulness, sincerity, authenticity, sweetness, depth, kindness, generosity, as well as his powerful intelligence and extraordinary sensitivity. He's an incredibly talented and inventive artist who's fully engaged and committed on set." Wow. As well as passionate, open person in life. Oh, and he's fun. Huh. He had the entire cast crushed this season. For the record, the work is where the story begins and ends for me. Wow. He and the entire cast... Oh, sorry. I thought she meant he crushed everybody. Well, like he was better than everybody. Yeah, he and the entire cast crushed this season of Succession. For the record, the work is where the story begins and ends for me. Yeah. Brian Cox. The thing about Jeremy's approach is it works in terms of what comes out the other end. Don't make me sign up to anything. There we go. Right. My problem, and it's not a and it's not a problem. My problem, and it's not a problem. I don't have a problem with Jeremy because he's delightful. He's an extraordinary dad. He's a pretty unique individual, but he does get obsessed with the work. And I do worry about what it does to him, because if you can't separate yourself, because you're dealing with all of this material every day, you can't live in it. Eventually you get worn out. That's interesting. I worry about what it does to him. Oh, I've just read that. Brian cited one of Jeremy's acting heroes. Daniel Day-Lewis, here we go. Right. So retired after Phantom Thread because his approach was too consuming. Yeah, I can completely understand that. Of course it's going to be knackering. That's it. There's no one else quite like... Well, actors like Daniel Day-Lewis are few and far between. Because that's everything. It consumes everything. I've heard there was another actor I heard of who left his wife and kid to move away from home to prepare for a role because he wanted to completely just disassociate from everyone and everything so he could reach this character. I mean, each to their own. You can't speak on behalf of like his wife or kid, but that sums it up pretty well. What does she say? The work is where the story begins and ends for me. I don't know. I don't know. Right. In the profile of Jeremy, who admitted he doesn't agree that Succession is a dark comedy, insisted he doesn't consider himself to be a method actor but practices what he calls identity diffusion. That's a new one. I think you have to go through whatever the ordeal is that the character has to go through. Interesting. If I have any method at all, it's simply this: to clear away anything that is not a character and the circumstances of the scene. And usually that means clearing away almost everything around and inside you so that you can be a more complete vessel for the work at hand. I can't work in a way that feels like I'm making a television show. I need, for whatever reason, to believe that it's real and commit myself to that sense of belief. I mean, I personally, I take my hats off to him. I love that approach. I think there's, for me, there's a line. There has to be a line where you rest and recoup and replenish. Otherwise, unless, I suppose, your character is fraught, as Jeremy Strong's character is in Succession. I think it was Charlie... what's his name? The guy who went a bit crazy. Charlie... Anyway, the guy in Breakfast Club didn't sleep apparently for 3 days. And it shows, you can see in the character. It's all in the eyes. I mean, I'd love to have a role that demanded that. If I had the, I think I would create the space to go as far as possible. I've done plays before where I've been really drawn to the role. It's been really demanding and exciting, and then had all these ideas about how I would like to prepare and how to work with the director and actually do like prolonged improvisations, like actually go into certain places in character, like playing out scenes that are in the play but actually going out into the real world in improvising in character. And then I've rocked up at rehearsal and been really crestfallen when the director just starts blocking it on day one, and you go, oh, for fuck's sake, are we not going to do any, we're not going to chat about it a bit, are we not going to... There's a play I did not long ago, and this is what I'm talking about, that I was so excited for the play and the character, and I thought it was going to be really challenging and visceral and exposing, but I mean, it was about, I think I got about 50% of the way there, because just down to the environment. And I love directors who have a trust and a vocabulary with actors. Because I was up for going there, but the director, I don't think, had the kind of, I guess, the vocal dexterity or the emotional dexterity to be able to navigate through those. There's some really challenging scenes in that play, and I really wanted to push certain things, but it didn't seem, because of other cast members and things like that, it didn't feel. It's all to do with chemistry, I think. It's all to do with chemistry. And so I suppose it's even harder on a film set, because you're less in theatre, you're in a bit of a bubble, like a protective bubble. Everyone is pretty much an artist or has similar temperaments. But on a film set, there's a lot of other factors and a lot of other opportunities for people to look in and go, okay, I'll get this guy. Oh no, we can't call him Jeremy. We've got to call him Kendall. yeah, he's going method. He's doing that thing. He's doing that. So everybody, did you get the memo about can't call Jeremy by his actual name because he's there's that, and I think that breeds outwards. So I love it when other actors defend other actors. I think absolutely, because a lot of the people who write this kind of stuff, it seems, don't have any recocking respect for their craft and the fucking dedication. The people putting themselves on the fucking precipice to do some credible work amongst a sea of dog shit. And Jeremy Strong is. It's fucking brilliant. They're all great. They're all great. And I don't like it when certain actors get dragged through certain articles because it starts to overshadow the whole thing. It's not just about him. He's put. Yeah. I don't think I have anything else to say on that. I think I've squeezed that one dry.